time keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by our military veterans. Get yourself ready, it's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the podcast that gives a voice to our veterans. That's the Lost Arts with Andrew Cox. Welcome. I'm excited. We got another fireside chat going on today. And as always, if you feel like becoming a TLA patron and you want to donate some money, that's great. Go to the website. You'll find the TLA or the patron link. And then also if you scroll down, there's a one-time donation thing. If you want to do that, it helps us out as we move forward with this wonderful thing we have going on. And then if you want to be a guest on the podcast, just email me, the Lost Art with Andrew Cox at gmail.com. And so with that, we have some our normal guests now. We're making this a normal thing. So we got Krista. Krista, why don't you say hi to everybody?
How's it going, everybody? Happy Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday.
That's right. Yeah. And for those that are listening next week, this is before the Super Bowl, so we don't know the outcome. But
we do.
And then you had Aaron there. Aaron, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hello, everyone, and go Broncos. Oh, wait, they're not in the Super Bowl. Never
mind. And then we got Mike. Mike, why don't you say hi?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Oh, they're doing great. They get to see us, you know.
What else is there?
And then Vic finally came back. He was out wrangling his dog or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Smoking a cigar, drinking bourbon, pre-flighting.
Getting a refill.
Cheers.
We just started. How are you getting a refill already?
Boots.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, man, I got to sneak off real quick.
He was a little parched on that motorcycle ride.
I tell you.
Sounds about right.
I have to stay hydrated when you're on the bike.
All right. Let's see what we're going to talk about today. We were going to talk about, well, for one, we were going to talk about Putin. That was a pretty cool interview. Did you guys get to hear that?
I did not watch the whole thing, but yes, definitely some interesting thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I there was definitely some cool moments when he was going back and forth. I enjoyed it. I didn't watch every bit of it. You know, it was like, what, 2 hours or something like that?
2.5 hours, yeah.
2.5 hours, yeah. That's a little much for me. But what I saw was very interesting. And then what was the other topic? I know I sent it out to you guys. What did I say?
Air Force is allowing up to 1,000 retirees to return to active duty.
Yeah, so that's pretty wild. I don't know if you guys know about the latest stuff that's going on. The Navy just said recently, what was it? They're extending service limitations. So the Master Chief that was here, Master Chief Greg, they called him because he was getting ready to retire. Had like everything was approved. He had a couple months to go, and they called him like, "Hey, would you be willing to, stay past your 30-year mark and stay in a little longer because we don't want to lose the senior leadership or whatever?" And he goes, "The only way I'll do that is if you send me to Hawaii." And they were like, "Yeah, done. Yeah, absolutely." And he was like, "What? Oh," and so he had to pull all his stuff back. So got a free trip.
See, that didn't work so well with me. I said, if y'all send me to Tampa, I will pull my retirement package back. And they said no.
They sent you to Tampa anyway.
They said, well, yeah, I ended up in Tampa anyway. But
what do you guys think about that? Like extending the service limitations and those types of things?
It makes sense to me, and I'm sorry I want to chime in first because before I even read the article, I was like, yeah, it's going to be experienced guys that they've spent a lot of money on throughout their careers for the training that they're not going to get within a year or two. In the Air Force, it makes sense. In the Navy, it makes sense too. There are a lot of, again, for career guys, they spend a lot of money training these guys, and they're very knowledgeable. You're not going to get that overnight. And I say overnight, like I said, 2 to 3 years. Like my MOS, the MOS is kind of, again, it was co-located there with the schoolhouse, and we fell on with the band schoolhouse there, and we fell under them guys for a short period of time. But it was training day wise, it was only like I can't even remember off the top of my head, 40 something days. And it's a short 40 something days, but that's just to learn the entry level basic systems stuff. And it takes at least an enlistment for a kid to really get smart on the systems and learn the MOS. And guys that go on B billets and they leave and they come back, they kind of lose some of that, so they got to get back into it. So it makes sense to bring your senior guys back if they can. I was glad to see that it was volunteer and not like a mandatory recall. That's a little bit of a relief. Like I said, can I keep the beard? And can I get some relaxed standards on the PFT?
It'd have to be real relaxed standards on the PFT.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys were talking about that on your fireside chat last week about the first enlistment not getting promoted to sergeant. I know there's a little bit of connection here because, I got forced out, not in a negative way, but there was a contract corporal thing that was going on, and that's why my MOS was frozen. And you had a lapse in leadership when this took place, and people were getting promoted too fast. So you didn't have the leadership coming in, the senior leadership that had from, before, the Cold War, you might call that, these guys that were master sergeants, master gunnery sergeants. So you had guys and gals getting promoted way too fast who weren't skilled. So having these guys that are extended, that have those leadership skills and that knowledge, who can pass it on now, and giving these younger folks a chance to learn. I think it's a good idea. Having the ones stay, and then you can, that leadership ability to pass on. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. That makes sense. Mike, Vic, either one?
Well, I'll say that you play a fickle game when you do that, because when you bring these people back out of retirement, what does that do to the promotion tree? Does that stall promotions?
It depends on the promotion. Well, how many people are actually staying in? So like the Navy, the Air Force, all those guys are not making missions, so they're not getting everything that they need anyways. So the promotion flow, it may be affected a little bit, but I don't know how much. I wouldn't think it would be that much, at least.
So what I read in the article is they're only allowed to stay for a certain amount of time, and they have to stay. They're not going to continue to get promoted. The way I read the article, they would come back in as that rank, only in those critical billets that are required. And if they were to deploy, they'd have to go into a combat. But as far as promotions, it didn't specifically say, Vic, but it seemed like it was, they're not going to get promoted. And I would assume, again, what do you do when you assume things? You make an ass out of you and me. But I would assume that it's not going to affect those younger guys from continuing to get promoted. But again, a big assumption.
Yeah.
Mike,
and
what do you
you're
think?
right about the mission, because right now Paris Island, they're usually running 12, I think, companies, and they're only at 6 companies right now on deck.
Ooh.
I don't know if I probably shouldn't have said that.
But we're still meeting numbers.
I don't know. I think they were pulling from the previous
No, we're not.
next year.
Kristen said, no, we're not.
I don't know.
It's
sure
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what
Victor
happens
knows.
with it.
Victor knows, don't you, Victor?
Oh, yeah.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I
all
just
the
don't
recruiters
see it.
going, hey, I know you didn't want to ship until 6 months from now, but you're shipping now.
Yeah. Big knows.
Yeah. What's that, Mike?
No, I was saying I agree that that leadership is an extremely important tool. I just don't see it working in the Marine Corps, to be honest with you. I mean, I see it in the Air Force and, the Navy, and, I don't even really know about the Army, but I think it's smart on their part, again, to bring those senior leaders back, as long as, there's an actual benefit to them coming back, and there's a benefit, to those junior ones that are gaining that mentorship. And I think that would be a big thing, is the mentor side of it is, hey, it doesn't always have to be this way, but we can, I can teach you. And that's one thing, I've learned, like my father-in-law is retired Air Force, but just talking with him, even when I was in the Marine Corps, it was two different services, but I could always call him and say, hey, man, what do you think about this? And he goes, well, you got to understand this, and that. Mm-hmm. But I think it's an extremely valuable asset. But I personally don't think it would work in the Marine Corps.
That's a great take, Mike, because you do have to look at it at different angles. But like I said, just speaking specifically to the article, it seems like it's critical skills MOSs. I don't know what the Navy's is. Apparently, band is, or musician is one of those, if they're retaining the command master chief there.
Music is critical, man. I mean,
absolutely. But what I'm saying is again, back to the robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? So they're going to keep him so they can retain somebody else somewhere else, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm getting at. Again, critical skills. If they have to take one person from one place and move them to another, he just prevented somebody from to move to Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that hurt somebody's feelings.
It hurt my feelings because they took it away from me. I still blame Trenholm for that, though. It's all his fault.
That's right. Trenholm took those, and you came to the schoolhouse, huh?
That's right. What an a-hole.
It would have been a lot cheaper to move you. You were already on the West Coast.
I know. It makes more sense. No, they don't want to listen to me. That's okay. They're glad to see me go. What?
I said clearly.
Hey, I will say this. I don't know how your transitions were, right? Out of the military. Mine's been fantastic. I have no responsibility. Other than my wife and kids, I got that. I got to grow this thing out, even though I have to shave it one more time. One more, that's it though. But it's going great. My baby is getting a little bit heavier lately, but other than that, it's pretty good.
I didn't think that was possible, man.
It is. In fact,
Shots fired.
I went out to the VFW last night with Jack Davis, and we were sitting there, and we just sat down, and we hadn't really saw each other a whole lot. And he looks over at me, and he rubs my belly, and he's like, "Your baby seems to be getting bigger. Are you sure you're going to fit in your camis?"
you took Jack over there. He's dropping papers soon, isn't he?
He's retired. I think 1 August is his official retirement date. But
there you go.
He was telling me last night they refigured all of his stuff, and he'll end up with 31 years of active service.
Yeah,
wow,
crazy.
I believe it. They had to do that with mine as well, Andrew. Because remember, I had broken time, and I did some active duty time in the Army National Guard, so they had to recalculate that.
How much did you actually end up with?
I think it was 20. I'd be lying right now if I told you, but it was 21 years and some odd months of active duty time, something like that.
Well, at least they calculated it.
Yeah. They didn't understand it at first. Obviously, two different services, but
I'm not.
I was
sure.
I had my orders and everything. I said, here, I was on active duty orders from this time to this time, and they had to go back in and recalculate that, which they had told me a long time ago when I came back in. They're like, hey, they'll figure all that out in the end. And I was like, okay. I didn't trust, but I guess we verified and it was good. But yeah, it was probably not as smooth as your transition, but y'all know how it is in the Marine Corps. Some things you got to figure out for yourself, and then you got to go tell who's supposed to be the subject matter expert that, hey, that wasn't right. You have to do it this way. That's how mine went.
Sums up my entire band career.
There you
We're
used to it, right?
This isn't right. This is how it's supposed to be done. Hey, S1, you didn't do this right. This is how you're supposed to do it. Hey, S3, you didn't do this right. This is how you're supposed to do it.
Right.
Oh, my
God. How was your guys' transition out? Was it pretty smooth? Was it easy? Anybody? I'm talking about.
Well, I'll say that
I was waiting on the head nods or shakes. I've seen Mike.
Well, I did the whole skill bridge thing, transitioning out. And I'll tell you that, like, the sergeant major from my battalion was not happening. He was not having me do skill bridge. And I'm like, it's not your choice. You know, if I'm going to do skill bridge, it's for everybody in the DOD. It's not for junior Marines. It's for senior Marines also. And I'll be honest. To this day, I'll tell anybody that asks me that skill bridge is probably or should be utilized by the senior Marines more than the junior Marines, especially like for the 0331 and the 03 community and those that don't know anything but pulling triggers and catching bullets. You need to train to do something else when you get out,
Absolutely.
But so I did the whole skill bridge thing, and I had a great experience doing that. I took all 6 months to do it. Sergeant major made me come back after skill bridge and retire, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to get your DD 214 before you go on skill bridge. But sergeant major again, wasn't having it. So whatever, I'll play your game, trip back. And then following that, I went on to do like financial advisor stuff and through First Command, and I was having a great time doing that until I realized that First Command is a bunch of shady MFers, I tell you. So
probably retired military.
Yep. Retired Sergeant Major Green is on the board. That tells you anything. But it's just not that he's shady, but I'm just like it's a bunch of retired people that are like just looking for the next hustle after they get on the board there or whatever. And then I wound up going back into music, teaching music. So now I feel like I finally have a sense of purpose again. I feel like my skill set that I've been honing for the last 24 years in the Marine Corps, I'm putting to use again. I like everything has gotten exponentially better in the last 30 days. So my transition has gone very, very, very well.
I want to add something before Mike and Chris would chime in, because I know theirs was definitely probably not as smooth as ours. But when I got out in 2003, I will definitely tell you, had today's standard for transitioning been applied back then, I probably wouldn't be back in the Marine Corps, to be honest with you, just because of what they provide now. So I will leave it at that, and then let them speak to theirs.
Sounds good. Anybody? Krista? Mike?
Okay. I got out in 1993. I wanted to stay in I don't know if I told y'all this in the last one. I don't mean to repeat myself if I did. I wanted to re-enlist. I wanted to stay in. When I left Georgia when I was 24 years old, I was looking for a career. I was looking for something. I came from a broken home and an abused family, and I wanted to stay. So I thought I could stay in for like 20 years. But what happened was people were coming in after me getting that contract corporal, and that was great for them. I did not get that. So I'm getting ready to reenlist. I go up to company office at Quantico, my third duty station. I was at 3 bands in 4 years. I loved it. And Major Ashenhurst, this great guy at company office, he's like, well, Krista, you can't reenlist. And I'm like, what? Because you can't reenlist. Your MOS is frozen. And I was too busy literally partying around the world in every band I went to. Had a great time every place. El Toro, 3 MEF in Okinawa, and of course Quantico. Nova Scotia, Canada. And he's like, well, you can go to another band or you can go to another MOS. And I was like, why do I want to go to another MOS? My school was 6 months long. And I was 29 years old, Lance Corporal, about to get out. And he's like, and if I had just thought for a minute and taken a step back, I could have gone to an admin school, 6 weeks, would have been done. And of course, at this time, I'm married and I'm pregnant because I'm 29 years old, which is probably normal for a female at this time. And I've been married a few years. And my daughter was born 2 days before my EAS. That was not her due date, but it didn't work out that way. So I ended up getting extended for almost 4.5 months. Well, they kept forgetting to run. I still had to do the 6 weeks, post maternity world or whatever. And they kept forgetting to run me on the unit diary. So you guys yeah, and that's how it was done. You had a paper, that's when you still had a paper. I know Victor's laughing. That's when you still had a paper, folio or whatever, paper file. But and they
SRB,
kept sending, SRB, right? So they kept sending paper checks home with my husband. They didn't even call me in. So I got paid to sit home and breastfeed, for like 4.5 months or whatever. But when I was at Quantico, still at the end, and then we had to go to those TAMP classes or whatever. At the end, they didn't tell me anything. Like they didn't tell me that you only had 10 years to use your GI Bill. They didn't tell you any of the stuff what I was supposed to do or anything, because the band would be like, "You got classes? Well, hurry up and get back. Hurry up and do this. Hurry up and do that." And it was nothing. I didn't have anything. I just got out, and since I was married to another Marine musician, and I just went home, and I was on half days because I couldn't march and things like that. They didn't want me to. And y'all know how the Quarters A is up there at Quantico. It's filled with potholes. So if you march anything at Quantico, you're tripping and falling. And Warrant Officer Farmer was afraid I was going to trip and fall and get hurt. So they didn't want. But we were doing grads, over at the FBI graduation and TBS, which was awesome, and things like that. But I was still just too busy having fun. And, Major Action Force was like, "Sorry, thank you for your service. Have a nice day. Goodbye." And that was it. I was just told, "Thanks, bye." That was it. And then I just
patriotism
left.
noted.
But yeah, patriotism noted. I don't think they even played the Marine Sim for me. Nothing. That was it. I never got anything. I didn't get a thank you. I didn't get a kiss my ass, rub my knuckles, nothing. And I just left. That was it. Have a nice day. Goodbye. But it was because my daughter was born on a Wednesday, and she was supposed to be born at Bethesda. And I barely made it to Woodbridge 21 minutes before she was born. Woodbridge Memorial Hospital that morning. So literally it was an emergency situation. And I won't bore the men with the details. And my EAS was Friday. So that's just how it turned out, So that was, I mean, it's just what it was. And then finally on November 10th, that November or that year of 93, they said, "Oh yeah, you're finally on the unit diary. Now you're done. Don't come back." We won't be sending you any more texts. That was it, but I still loved every minute of it. I loved being a Marine. I love being a Marine musician. I had a great time. I literally have been all over the world, everywhere. I mean, Guam, I've been to Korea, I've been to, Canada, I've been to Spain, I've been to Germany, I've been everywhere. Saudi Arabia in the war, I've been everywhere. I loved it. I loved everything I did. So, because I was good at following orders. I was a Lance Corporal. Show up. Okay, we're here. Show up. We're here.
That's what the days.
Yeah, they were. So, but that's why I joined. I joined to get away from Ackworth, Georgia. And so.
You said last week you were from Alabama and your tree went straight up.
I did. I was born in Huntsville, Alabama. But my father moved. He moved over to Lockheed, Georgia. He was an aerospace engineer. He worked for Lockheed. So we moved to Ackworth, Georgia when I was like 2. And I grew up in North Georgia.
Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas. What's the difference? Oklahoma.
There's a new state park. It's called Alabama.
There's Indians in Oklahoma. That's the difference.
That's the difference. There we go.
In Alabama, and that's Georgia.
The entire state of Oklahoma, or just about, there's a small portion that's not, is a reservation. I grew up on the reservation, in case you didn't know.
Oh, where's your card?
Me too.
I got a card, but it ain't for that.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And how do I get one of those cards? Holy cow.
Oh, that's good times. Mike, how about you? How was your stuff?
My transition out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you and I have talked about it, Andrew, but it was not good. No.
That's why he's drinking whiskey. He's washing the taste out of his mouth.
And I mean, a lot of it was my fault, but there was a lot of, we weren't, Andrew, you and I were First Marine Division in Iraq. I apologize. I got dogs barking in the background here.
But good.
My wife just got home, I think, so they hear the garage door, so they're all out there. But anyways, we weren't combat Marines. We weren't kicking indoors and gunfights in Ramadi and Fallujah and stuff like that. And I think I mentioned it last week, the daily bombardment we got, it takes a toll on you after a while. And it led me into, I'm embarrassed to say it, but drinking a little too much and, stuff like that. And just making poor decisions, at 17 years in the Marine Corps. And Marine Corps like, yep, we ain't having it.
Yeah.
Get your tail out. It was, and that was, there was no, like you were saying, Krista, there's no Marines hymn, none of that. It was, and especially in the band field, the band really relies on the fact that we're the best of the best. We've got this persona and we're not going to tolerate this and that, even though, we all know the stories and we know the things that have happened when, senior leadership's doing junior leadership's wives or vice versa, crap like that. But it's amazing how it all, I don't know how to say it, but it only fits when they want it to fit.
Yeah.
And I would say that's Marine Corps wide. Don't get me wrong. I love the Marine Corps. I don't miss any day that I did, but it was, like you were forced out, unfortunately, it was like, and I wasn't as bad, but I was at the point where, hell, I couldn't go anywhere at 29 Palms. I tried and tried and tried. They're like, nope. So where are you going to stay?
You were there for like 6 years, something like that.
What's that?
You were there 6-7 years, something like that.
I got there in January of '94 and left in March of '98. So, but
Robinson was at 29 Palms for like 6 years, wasn't he?
Who?
Robinson, Gary Robinson.
Oh God, Robinson was there when he got there when I had been there like 3 years.
Oh my God. Robinson's doing good for himself. If y'all didn't know that, he's out in San Diego doing great things. He's like, I think he's a psychiatrist. He's working on that, and I don't know, he's doing great stuff out there, making good money. I can tell you that. So you want to hit him up? I'm just kidding. Don't get it.
Yeah, the last thing I saw him, he was a master sergeant.
Retired master sergeant.
Yeah.
What did he play?
Trombone.
Trombone.
I think I knew him. Okay. Tall, skinny kid, blonde hair?
No.
Short, skinny kid.
Okay, never mind.
Snaggletooth.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean it in a nasty way. I'm just being honest. I mean,
it's an honest descriptor.
See, that's the thing. Everybody gets mad when you have to describe somebody. Yeah, it may be funny, but hey, it describes them.
Yeah.
With this odd habit of rocking back and forth.
Yes.
Old
He is one of those incredibly smart individuals, just stupid smart. And like if I ever had an issue with like paperwork or anything like that, I'd just send it to him like, "Hey man, take a look at this and tell me if this is messed up." And he'd be like, "Oh my god!" And he'd go in, fix it all, and send it back. I'm like, "You rock, thanks, man." He was good at that stuff.
That. Stupid smart. I like wicked smart, wicked smart.
I had, when I left 29 Palms, went to Albany, and then Albany to First Marine Division. I think it was a birthday ball. And I think it was when we got back from Iraq, it was in 03. All of a sudden, he walks up to me and he goes, "Gunny, you don't remember me, do you?" And I looked at him. I was like, "Holy fucking shit, Robinson?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Jesus, you're still in?" I was like, "You got," I mean, I didn't mean it that way. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, I know. I was like, damn. You know, because he just wasn't at that point in time what I pictured was going to stick around and, you know, be something in the Marine Corps. And I mean, good for him.
Yeah, he ended up doing well for himself. Yeah. To be honest, really great. Yeah.
I'll never forget that day. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, man. What were we talking about? I don't even remember. Let's talk about
we're talking about we're talking about exit outs, but bringing folks back. Yeah, bringing folks back in, retirees.
We're gonna have to count on Aaron to keep us on track. Yeah.
For a host, I'm not doing
as a planner, so you know that's kind of inherent.
He's only drinking beer.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a woman, so I'll just squirrel left all day.
Not such of a memory lapse with beer.
Hey, Mike, I got
That's why Ron drives everywhere we go. I'm like, squirrel.
I got a question for you, Mike. So, you know, your transition out was not necessarily easy or the best way, right? But there's a lot of individuals out there that had to transition that way. Did you still get all of the things that you needed as far as like TAMP or whatever they call it nowadays? I have no idea. But all that type of transitional stuff, did you get that still? You didn't get any of it.
No, I got sent to a 2-hour class and they just plopped a whole bunch of crap down in front of me.
Holy cow.
Well, what year was that, Mike, if you don't mind me asking?
2000, March of 2008.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why the requirements are as heavy as they are now, because they kept doing that to people.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't right. It didn't matter. It didn't matter if you were a Marine that got sent to the brig. If you were getting processed out, the Marine Corps owes it to you to transition you out. So that way they are providing what they quote is a better product to society than what they received. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was a thing, like, Andrew, you know this, like when we went to Iraq, you know, every Marine that deployed, I don't care where you went, Afghanistan, Iraq, that you were supposed to get basically like a 30-day review, a 90-day, 6 month, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get that crap.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, they had the whole band go over to medical over there, and I think it was a division site surgeon or psychologist, whatever the hell you want to call it, and stood out there and says, "Anybody out here having any issues?" Nope. All right.
Well, we kept getting the anthrax vaccine series twice. That's all we kept getting.
Yeah. They were fine at sticking us with smallpox going over there.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I think it's an annual. I think it's an annual requirement now. I may be mistaken, but I think every year they're supposed to revisit that.
Yeah.
What, anthrax?
Your I can't even remember what it's called now, but it's your like it's like a reassessment.
Yeah. It's just an evaluation of your mental health.
Yeah, it's a periodic review. It's tied to your annual periodic review.
Yeah.
PDHRA or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember.
Right. I'll make a joke. Had to work
You're
under
the
rock
newest
from
retiree, and you can't
mental health issues.
So I will tell you that it's hit or miss. You do your PHA. There's questions on there that talks about your mental health, and it doesn't really matter if you pick the like, hey, I'm doing horrible, or hey, I'm doing fine. They're just like, okay, sounds good. They don't even really look at it because usually it's corpsman going through it anyways, being like, yeah, checking the box, got it, done. Paperwork's complete. But I don't know. It's a strange thing. But I will say medical has gotten way better about mental health in general. When I went in, of course, my wife told me, and Mike, you can attest to this, but for years and years and years, she's like, you have some stuff going on and you need to get some help. And I said, no, I'm good. Trust me. She should not have trusted me. And I eventually got to go in. And when I did, I'm like sitting down with the doc and I'm explaining, hey, my wife says this, my wife says that, da 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 da. I went down the list and he's like, okay, he's like an intern or something. And he's like, all right, let me go talk to the doc. I'll be back. So he leaves. They come back like 15 minutes later. Doc's like, yeah, hey, I got this for you. It's an appointment to see a therapist. So here you go. It's on this date, this time. And I was like, okay, yeah, sounds good. And he goes, here's some medication that you need to take as well. And I'm like, Doc, am I that screwed up? And he's like, I wouldn't say screwed up. You might have some issues though. You need to work through it. So I will say that at least gotten better. And that's the only time I've ever gotten a phone call from medical. Like literally somebody called me and said, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? How am I doing? Who are you? Why are you wanting to talk to me right now? Yeah.
Well, I will say that, like in my transition, because we were talking about transitions earlier, I will say that, like, I know this isn't the common experience. It seems like, anecdotally, if you talk to a lot of veterans, it doesn't seem to be the common experience. But I have to say that, like, my experience with the VA post Marine Corps has been amazing. It seems like every few weeks I have somebody call me, some social worker, some VA rep call me, hey, you doing all right? What about this? Did you think about, life insurance policy? What about your medical? Did you get medical set up? It seems like every few weeks I have somebody call me going, you're good, right? You go, okay, you need anything from us? I've got to say that, like, at least my experience has been phenomenal post, like, Marine Corps, my transition. So I feel very grateful for that. I've had my first VA appointment with my VA doctor, and they're like, hey, okay, this and that and this and that, and here we're going to send all these medications to you. You don't even need to go to the pharmacy for it. We're just going to send them to you. So I've gotten all my medications that I need, a whole 9 yards. I've got, like, post Marine Corps, I had a sleep study done, and I've, like, been diagnosed with sleep apnea, which we knew the whole time. But so, like, all of my healthcare and all my transition stuff, and I'm lucky. I know that this isn't the common experience. I feel very blessed. But everything been going, like, right as rain for me, and I feel very, very like, special, I guess, or very lucky, because I know a lot of people don't have the same experience, but hopefully it's an indicator that things are turning around with the VA and all the transition classes and assistants that are happening. And I hope that at least I'm maybe a poster child for that. So
I would add to that, Vic, and say that so I did I think it was 3, 6, and maybe a year, something like that. They contacted me, but I would say that they have gotten better, definitely. I would say it's more common than what you think, but I would also say that obviously depending on what area you belong to, as well as there's probably a lot more claims now than what there used to be, because if you think about a lot of the older veterans, they were like, no big deal, and they just brush it off, right? I think nowadays,
so sure is that necessarily. I think, to be honest, it's we have in the medical field, it's gotten so much more extensive, and they understand things a little bit more now. Granted, you could always look at it as a negative too, but they understand a little bit more.
Yeah, I would say there's probably a lot of common issues across a lot of veterans, right? So when they see it once, they're seeing it twice, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So they're probably, like you said, becoming more experienced. There's definitely the knowledge that's there, and technology, of course, right? You don't have to wait. I say you don't have to wait days to get seen, but in some situations, it depends on what area of the world you're in, or the U.S. especially. There's probably more veterans than others, right? Like Texas probably has a ton of veterans, right?
I think the majority of the state is veterans, if I'm not
right,
mistaken.
right. So it's probably a little bit longer wait times. I would tell you that the area where I'm at, there's a lot of veterans. Of course, we have a military base nearby, so I have not, fortunately enough, and again, I'm blessed, have not had to experience a whole lot of that.
Yeah. I see your dog is joining the conversation.
Yeah, my dog decided to join the conversation. Good genes.
What's his name?
This one is Diesel.
Diesel.
He's pit lab mix.
Oh, what's you doing, Diesel?
He has to be touching somebody.
Mike, have you enrolled in the VA?
What's that?
You enrolled in the VA?
I enrolled in the VA, but I was a part of that whole big bunch that all of our medical records were lost.
Uh-oh.
And I was fighting a battle with that because I had copies of all my medical records. And they told me, well, you can give them to us, but we can't accept them because they're not certified true.
What? They don't tell you that when you get out.
That is crazy. Yeah.
And I've been fighting with it. I've got VA benefits now, but I haven't used them because the way they have me enrolled, and I actually have an attorney now that's fighting it, that I have co-pays.
Yeah.
With the VA, and it's just been and I spent years. I'm like, screw this. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not dealing with it. I just want it all done. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't care. And my wife just nonstop, Mike. You earned this. You deserve this. You've got to, and mentally, and I just wasn't in a state to be able to want to deal with it.
Right.
And
unfortunately,
and that's part of the problem I was alluding to earlier. Is like, again, veterans get frustrated with having to deal with it and manage their own stuff. Now, again, VA has gotten better, got it, but they need to get to the point to where he shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Like they should have a caseworker or something that says, okay, I've got your stuff. I'm gonna get it situated, and you're not gonna have to do all this legwork. Again, you did the time. Let's support you. Whether it was 2, 3, 4, I think it's over 180 days, right? You rate VA benefits. Right. So, you did 180 days, whatever the case may be. Don't care what it is. The government says 180 days on active duty. You rate the benefits. So let's support those people.
Well, it's been frustrating to me because I work with a guy now. He's a good guy. He was in the Army, but everything and anything, he's nonstop. Oh man, I got a rating and I get this because I got ED, and I'm like, shut the hell up, man. I'm tired of hearing it. He's like, oh, I got this, I got that. And,
that's probably that's probably the guys that need to be investigated.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love them to death, but it's like, dude, shut the hell up, man. I get tired of hearing about you got this rating, you got that. And, I'm like, I don't have any of it. I mean, it's really, and like I said, some of that's my fault. I mean, I don't disagree with that because I fought it for so long.
But I assume with your lawyer, it's going to come back, right? So you're going to get, I guess they do back pay with all that stuff. I don't know, but I mean, it's going to come back. You're going to get it. It's just a matter of time, right?
That's what he says, yeah. But it's just a lengthy process. That's the
Yeah.
unfortunate side of it.
I'm glad you're working with someone. It's good.
Well, I wouldn't be if it wasn't for my wife. So, and she's over here looking at me like I can.
Tell her to step in the camera so we can see her.
Hey,
What's
I'll
that?
admit it.
Tell her to step in the camera so we can see her. I haven't seen her in a hot minute.
I'll admit it. Sometimes wives know better.
Oh, she definitely knows better.
Get.
How you doing? Oh, she can't hear me. How you
I can hear
doing?
you now. Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Welcome to the podcast. You're famous to like 10 people.
Oh, thanks.
So I'm up to like 50 now. So 50 followers.
Oh,
So you're 50 famous.
what's all that shit on your face, Maureen?
I am going to plead the fifth.
He said he has to shave one more time in a week or so.
Yeah. One more time. That's it.
But he said his baby keeps getting bigger and he can't figure out why.
Yeah, my baby. Maybe, I mean, you were a nurse, right? So maybe you can help me. For some reason, my baby is getting bigger every day, and I can't figure out why.
I can tell you it's probably the same thing that this ass clown's problem is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Aliens and all.
She said this ass clown.
Love it. Ass clown. One of my favorite phrases.
So my daughter, actually, her new saying is ass hat.
Ass hat, yeah.
And Mike gets so upset with her because he's like, it's ass clown. And she's like, no, your hat's on your ass, not on your head. So she says ass hat.
I love it.
She gets it from her dad, honestly.
Yeah. What do you got back there? What is that big moppy thing you got there?
This is Olive. This is Mike's golden doodle. She's his emotional support baby.
You said golden doodle?
She's a golden doodle. Her mom's a black poodle and her dad's a golden doodle. But
okay.
You see, she's right here because her dad's right here. Hold on. I'll get her. Let's see. Here we go. Here she comes.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
If I'm at the table, she usually sits at the.
Yeah.
She's camera shy. It's okay.
I'll tell you, dogs are amazing. Mine, I start getting kind of anxious and rambunctious, I guess you could say. Yeah. Start getting loud. Let me put it that way. My dog, the one that was just sitting there, he comes up next to me and starts kind of rubbing on me and nudging on me and stuff. Yeah. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's checking on you. Man.
Yeah, but that's the shirt I have on until the Valhalla Project.
No.
But on the back it says when I needed a hand, I found a paw. I got a paw, so yeah.
Must be nice to have a normal dog. That's cool.
Yeah.
I do not have
I don't know if she's normal or not.
What do you have, Victor?
I have an all black German Shepherd, and they're notorious for being like severely neurotic. Like right now, he's behind me freaking out right now because he can hear people talking and not see them.
Yeah.
You hear that?
I can hear him whining.
Yeah, he's whining and like freaking out right now. That's my dog.
Got my English bulldog, and Aaron, you're familiar with him, but whenever I don't know if you saw it, but I posted a little concert on the face pages the other day, and my dog was sitting down at my feet. Every time I sing, he wants to come and sit down with me. He's my baby.
I'm surprised he's not annoyed. No, I'm just kidding.
It's everybody else. It sounds like I'm howling, so he's like, "Oh, that's normal," you know.
And I'm the vicious woman that locked her dogs out of the room.
Oh man,
my dog's downstairs. You don't know.
My son and his girlfriend's dog live with us right now because his girlfriend lives with us going to nursing school, and he is a black German Shepherd Husky mix. He looks like both of you guys' dogs. He just went outside, but no, Yeah, he went outside.
That's the one y'all just seen right here. She's Shepherd Husky.
Ah.
Yeah,
well, if she'll stay, she's 8. She got attitude problems all the time. She's like, "Why are you touching me? Leave me alone."
So, have you guys registered your dogs as service animals?
Nope.
No. You know, it's a real easy process, right? Super easy.
Yeah, our kids have theirs all registered.
What?
And it's because for flight reasons, so they can fly them back and forth and stuff like that.
Well,
oh, yeah.
And Abby actually has severe test anxiety. So her golden doodle, he is the dad of all the golden doodles that we have in the family. And he actually really does calm her and helps her focus. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, but our son had his one dog. He's like a lab German lab, not Dalmatian. He's got Dalmatian in him, but wiener dog, all that. Yeah, he's a mutt of mutts. But he actually got him registered as a psychiatric dog. And I'm like, get the heck out of here. And he goes, yeah, well, it works. So I was like,
technically, you're supposed to train them to do something, right? They're supposed to have a. Oh, that's pretty dog.
Yeah, he was just like Aaron's dog.
All right.
Man, we got derailed pretty quickly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail us. Dog talk.
And animal lives. Hey, Andrew, animal lives matter.
Yep. Yes. Can you give me another whiskey?
Another whiskey.
That's the important question. Can you get me another whiskey?
Have the dog get it.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing. Mike is gaining weight, and I've lost 100 pounds. So.
Oh, there you.
Woo! Hey, I did something special for you, and I just need you to know this. When you come in for the party, put $500 down on the bar. That's just for you. Okay, $500 just for you.
Dang it! Don't believe him. He said it was just for me.
$5 worth because I'll already be drunk from the
$5.
No. What he said was, make sure you get a room at the Hojo across the street, so you can just walk.
That's right. You get the Hojo across the street.
Mike's always loved the fact that I'm a cheap drunk.
So that look said it all.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, you guys will be up here soon enough, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be a fun time for everybody out there. I'm retiring. I'm not officially retired, even though I might look like it. I'm a scumbag, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I have my DD-214, so you can kiss my butt.
You're just terminal leave.
That's right. So I'll shave one more time. That's it. No more. And then I'll look more like Aaron over there with his Duck Dynasty beard he's got going on.
Yeah, this is about 6 months where I shaved it. Actually, I shaved it completely off about a year ago, and then I guess it was about 6 months later I trimmed it down. But yeah, I don't like it trimmed down. I like this. The wife's not a fan, but
it looks good. I like it.
Maybe someday when I grow up.
Guys, I like guys with hair.
This is 6 months right here. I don't grow facial hair. I'm proud of this right here. Just
I talked to a buddy.
Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to go through puberty and actually be able to grow facial hair.
I talked to a buddy I haven't talked to probably in about 10 years, but the last time I saw him was 2001, right after 9/11. And same thing. He got on. I mean, this is 2:00 in the morning. He's like, "What do you look like now?" And I was like, 2:00 in the morning. We jumped on FaceTime, and he He's like, holy cow, man. And he showed me his, and it's like this little small beard. And he's like, this 6 months worth. I was like, well, this is about 6 months worth. He's like, holy cow. I was like, well, I shaved, I just retired a year and a half ago, if that. And so, I shaved for 20 plus years. So I haven't grown anything. I guess that's what it does.
Yeah.
Except for Vic.
Yeah. 24 years of shaving, and like this spot right here is still bald on both sides. I can't, it doesn't connect to my hair right here.
Because the last time, I was getting at the last time that dude seen me, I barely had a few chin hairs.
Okay, guys. Now I fell in April and sliced my head open in Bermuda, and they had to cut it with a straight razor. So that's last April.
Oh wow! Ouch!
I had to have 7 stitches, and they took a straight razor and they shaved it. So that's April. So see, I could grow.
That's way more than what Aaron's got over there. What the heck?
So we're gonna have to watch Krista come the end of the month. We're gonna have to watch Krista in Virginia Beach to make sure she don't fall.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, are all you guys going? I'm sorry.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone's going. So do I need to go so we can fireside chat?
Yeah. Come on up.
Yeah. do a live one.
We'll do a live at the party. That way everybody can join in the festivities. Somebody else may have to host that one.
You might not be.
Yeah, it'll be like your first podcast.
It'll be worse than the first podcast.
No, it'll be more. It'll be more than beer then.
We did good on the first one last week, didn't we? We did good.
No, I'm saying Andrew's first one.
Oh,
did you ever listen to the first podcast, Krista?
Just the 3 of you last week, or you did
Kyle with Gunny Kyle.
Yeah, with Gunny Kyle. That was my very first podcast. And let's say I drank a little too much.
You said your mom said about that. She's like, "Are you drunk?"
Yeah, my mom was not happy. It's all good.
You could tell about halfway to 3/4 through it, he was pretty lit.
Feeling happy?
He was.
And he finally admitted, he goes, "Yeah, I'm drunk."
Yeah. He said it. He said it on the podcast.
No.
Well, see, if you're a sponsor, then I don't have to be your patron anymore, right?
Oh, it's good stuff. Well, hey, what do you guys want to talk about now?
Got to do Putin.
No, there's a bald head.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not far behind you. Look at this right here.
Yeah, just shave it off.
That's why. That's why I said, when this starts creeping back, that's when I'll cut my hair off.
I'm not addressing that issue.
He's got there.
I've got plenty of hair.
Female baldness is an issue.
I haven't experienced female baldness yet.
I don't want Chris Rock to come and slap me. Sorry.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't hear you. What? Say it again.
When you said female baldness, he hasn't experienced it yet.
No, I haven't. No.
His time's coming.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
They time's coming.
I just want to say that, Andrew, I'm very proud of you now with your use of adult beverages. There was a time where you thought that all alcohol tasted like cough syrup. I'm glad to see you're finally past that.
That is very true. Hey, with age, it's gotten better. Like a fine wine or something. I don't know. Yeah, you were right. But back then, I don't know if you remember this. Somebody, and I won't say who, probably had way too much to drink and ran around the hotel room naked, or the hotel naked. Well, no, I had that person, not me. That person has skivvies on, so not completely naked.
And somebody may or may not have caught it on camera. You're right.
And somebody's wife may or may not have seen that later. Thanks, by the way. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're going to tell that story at the reception. Don't worry about it.
I can't
Aren't you
wait.
glad social media wasn't around back then?
Yes. Yes, hell yes.
I'm telling you, the stupid stuff we've done. I tell the kids nowadays, like when they're coming through, I'm like, y'all don't understand. Like, you think you guys, do stupid stuff. I was like, no. And not to mention, they can't keep a secret to save their lives.
Yeah.
Man,
no.
we can keep a freaking secret now. I'm telling you, because
that's what I told my buddy the other night. I said, good thing social media wasn't around. He said, oh, I have pictures. I said, they better not find their way. He does. That dude has some pictures. He's been sending them to me.
I got a picture of in Iraq because I sent who was it? Oh man, sax player. Help me think, Mike. Sax player. He.
Pendleton?
Morgan. Yeah, it's not Morgan.
Martinez.
Morgan, I canoodle with him.
He was a corporal at the time. Anyways, Moore, that's it. I was close. Anyway, Moore was going over to the big base that had the big PX, right? And I'm like, hey man, like bring me back something. I don't care what it is, just bring me something back from the big PX, man. He's like, okay, I got you. So he goes over. What does he bring back? He brings back some daggum panties. Like I'm like, really, dude? Like that's what you bring me as panties? I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry, I got you. So that night when he was trying to sleep, I went in dressed in panties, and I woke his ass up. And I'm like, hey man, thanks for getting these. They look good, don't they? And he's like,
I remember that story.
I don't know if I had told that here, Andrew.
Tell it all, brother. Tell it all. No, I don't believe I told.
It is recorded now for prosperity. It's, it's out there now.
Yep.
Who was that? Like this goes hard.
What's
not
that?
the first time I've seen you in panties, though. I'm just saying.
What color were the panties?
I don't know. I don't remember.
It was dark. It was dark.
You didn't save them?
You didn't have your headlamp on.
No, I didn't save them. No.
But you had a dick coming out of your forehead, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility. Do you remember crap, what was it? Do Good. No, not Do Good. Who was it that crapped himself in the crapper? Who was that?
Douglas?
Douglas, that's who it was.
Ken Douglas.
Crap your pants story. Oh my God, it was so funny. Go ahead and tell that one there, Mike. Yeah, come on. Dime him out.
Man, that's not fair. He's not here to defend himself.
All right, I'll tell Mike.
That's what makes it better.
I'll tell it. No, it was when we were in Iraq in 2003 before the war started. And we were already staged out just off the border of Iraq. And, we'd gone through all the briefings, and the shelling was going to start on Safwan Hill, and they were just going to decimate this hill. And, I mean, it was like midnight, and we're all sitting there, and, they had just started the MREs with the damn milkshakes in them. And Douglas, he's lactose intolerant, but he's like, I'm gonna have this milkshake. And we're in our chemical suits and everything because nobody knew what was going on. And I mean, it's dark, and all of a sudden you just hear boom, 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 boom. And they 11th Marines just starts leveling this observation post on Safwan Hill, and we're all standing there like around our vehicles, everybody's staged, and all of a sudden, this freaking Marine just goes running through everybody, and we're like, "What the fuck is that?" And he's running, and we're like, "Fuck!" And all of a sudden, Yaffa Jones goes, "I think that was Douglas," and I was like, I couldn't tell. I was like, he's running, and he's just running out in the middle of. We got fire, positions out there, dug in positions, and that he's running out as far as he can get out from the site. We're like, who the hell is that? Just running. And so we go out there, and he's like, get away from me. Just leave me alone. And he's standing there, got the suit off, basically butt ass naked, out in the middle of the desert. And he pooped and crapped himself, and he's down to nothing, standing there. We're like, oh shit! He's like, just leave me the hell alone. Leave me alone. So we all run back and we're laughing and all, just making jokes. We're like, man, that sucks, dude. I mean, better you than me, because then he comes back in. He's like, man, I ain't got nothing on. I ain't no skivvies, no nothing. All I had was that little pack of PTP and the damn MRE, and he's out there got his socks off, wiping himself. And
I'm a mom, so I'm a little compassionate. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I felt bad for him, but it's one of those things you can't, because he would have laughed at it.
You were laughing, then you felt bad, right?
Yeah, but he laughed at many of things we did too. So I mean,
okay.
Turnabout's fair play.
Hey, Andrew, you got to get him on there.
I know. I have to reach out to him and get him on there.
Yeah.
You have to find him and get him on here.
Andrew and I talked a while back. We were talking.
Come on.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I myself compassionate. Oh fuck.
Andrew and I were talking a couple months ago about call signs and nicknames while we were over there, and it was, he got one out of that one, but it didn't stick with him because Dan Hungel gave him another one. What do you call him? Triple D. Yeah, Devil Dog Douglas. He's like, there he is, Devil Dog Douglas, Triple D.
Oh man, I don't know if Peyton ever listens to these things. I don't know if Peyton ever listened to these things, but I got a good one about his call sign.
I call it milkshake. Hey, milkshake.
Yeah.
Mandango was Peyton's call sign. And Krista knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mandango.
Yeah. He'd always get on the radio. He'd always be like, Tower 3, this Mandingo. And it's like, remember Colonel Baker came on one time? He goes, who the hell is Mandingo?
So we're at a concert down in San Diego, it was in San Diego. I can't remember where, but for whatever reason, everyone thought it was a good idea to put me as the announcer or whatever for the concert. It's always a bad idea, but so
I can attest to that.
Yes, you can. I'm introducing Peyton, and I'm like, please welcome to the podium, Staff Sergeant Mandango Peyton. Man, you talking about mad. Woo, buddy, he was upset. And after he's like, what the heck were you thinking? I'm like, wow, who's your call sign, man? He's like, you know what that's from? I'm like, no, I don't know. He's like, that's a porn star in like the 70s or something. So I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, don't worry, it's an old crowd. They're not going to know anything. So we go out and mingle with them out in the audience. And the first guy that comes up to me, this old man, he's like, so Mandango, huh? I was like, oh, you're a dirty old man. You're a dirty old man.
I was born in 1964, so, I can't help it. I thought I was familiar with that, but I just saying I'm that old. Okay, I'll just shut up now and stop talking. Okay, we need some refill of some whiskey.
So, like when I was at Miramar, I was one of the drum majors that I was teamed up with when I was enlisted conductor was Hugh Wirtz, right? And Wirtz was his last name, W-R-T-S.
Yeah, Hugh.
Yeah, Hugh Wirtz. So like every time like we'd go out to a gig, the drum major goes out with the sergeant major to look at all the marks on the parade deck, whatever, all kind of stuff. The enlisted conductor goes to the podium, make sure nothing in the sequence has changed, to make sure all the names are right, blah, blah, blah. I used to mess with him all the time. So I would like change our names. Sometimes he was an Enrique or something like that. One day I went up to the podium and the announcer was like, "Hey, I just want to make sure I got their names right." And I was like, "No. Our admin gave you the wrong name. His first name is Brought." He goes, "Oh, okay, oh, yeah." So we get into the story, or we get into the ceremony, and it's like the band's under, the pre-serenade contest provided by the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing Band on the direction of Gunnery Sergeant Victor Ney. The drum major is Gunnery Sergeant Bratwurst.
It's not. You did not.
I totally did. And somewhere in the back of the audience, somebody goes, "Ah!" Man, he was so pissed off. We go back to the bus, and he's just sitting in the front seat of the bus, just like this. I was like, "Come on, man! It was funny. Brought words. It was funny." He goes, "You know I hate this game, and now you introduced me to food. Fuck you."
Yeah, he got butthurt easily.
Oh my God, that's good
Man,
stuff.
he was bratwurst. He was a liverwurst. I called him all kinds of shit.
Liverwurst. That's that stuff, man.
Oh man, I let fuck with him.
Oh, good old days. Good old days. Well, hey, we're I don't even know what the time is, to be honest, how long we've gone, but it's been a little bit, and we have a Super Bowl to watch
in 10 minutes. So, yes,
yeah, 10 minutes is a Super Bowl game. For everybody that's listening next week, just know we have not seen the Super Bowl yet, so don't run it for us. Yeah, we're excited to see it. Everybody excited. Who you rooting for, Krista?
San Francisco. San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. Aaron?
Well, I have to go for San Francisco because they have a couple of former Arkansas Razorbacks on their team. Dre Greenlaw and Brandon Allen, backup quarterback, probably will not see time, but at the same time, I gotta root for those hometown or home state guys right there.
That's very brave of you.
And I'm not a Swiftie, so
yeah. That's all I watch for. Taylor Swift. Mike, who are you rooting for?
I'd probably go with Kansas City.
Kansas City, okay.
It's not the Steelers, but hey.
Not everybody can be the Steelers.
I see what he's doing there. He's sticking with the AFC. I got it.
Yep.
I'm a Broncos fan, so yeah, I'm sticking with the AFC.
You. I'm a Bengals fan.
Oh, I can't talk anymore.
It's my son-in-law. It's my son-in-law.
Can't be a Steelers fan and be no Bengals, no Cleveland, no.
That's bad.
Baltimore, no.
Strictly marriage.
No, okay.
So for everybody out there, because we know it's a lot of veterans listening, what is the one thing that is going to push veterans away from each other? NFL football, apparently. We have found it. We've drawn the lines. That's it. NFL.
Hey, hey Andrew, I would argue that it actually kind of brings us together. Yeah, we may argue and fight over our teams, but I would say it kind of brings us together.
Yeah, it's a good point.
We are the example. If we can get along, even though we disagree, there you go.
You know what?
Unless you drink Bud Light.
We can drink and eat.
Yeah.
Easy, pal. I'm not going to talk about that right now. Vic, who are you picking?
I'm going with the Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Perfect. Good job.
All right, so we got 2-2. So to me, tiebreaker. All right, drum roll. I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
All
right.
I have to. My wife is rooting for the Chiefs. I think that's who she's rooting for. I'll be honest, I don't know. And not to mention, it's California, San Francisco. So I have to go with the Chiefs. It's closer to home. Yeah, that's who I'm going for. I couldn't tell you anything about the Chiefs. Nothing. I got nothing other than they're the Chiefs.
You rather not have a house divided. I got you. I understand.
I'm retired now. I'm just got to be good. You know what I'm saying?
The balls.
She still got to love me. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give her something worth loving, right?
You have to have clean socks to change into, right?
I may have failed miserably at all that. All right. So
at least make some bratwurst while you're watching the game.
That's so messed up. Hugh, if you're listening, we all are upset with him right now. Hey, thank you all for joining us, Chris, Aaron, Mike, Vic. Thanks, I appreciate it. It's been a good time. I enjoy this. It's a weekly thing so far, and maybe we can continue it. Hopefully, if you guys want to stick around, I'm all good with that. But yeah, hopefully everybody enjoys being able to look at our lovely faces and our reactions to stupidity. But on a serious note, to all the veterans out there, don't forget, you matter. 100%, your veterans matter. So if you're having problems, you're having issues, and you need to, seek some help, look at the VA, look at the veteran website. They have some incredible things. You can dial 988 and then press option 1 if you're having suicidal thoughts, anything of that nature. You can also text 838-255. Again, that's 838-255. And if you go to the Veterans Crisis Hotline, Veterans Crisis Hotline I'm saying it wrong, veteranscrisisline.net, you can also chat online. I know a lot of the younger folks like to chat online, so that might be an easier go for everybody. But with that being said, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay motivated and change your socks.